This is not peak Wuthering Waves. I don't know what this video is about. It might not be what the title is. I might be getting clickbaited hard as shit right now. I could be getting clickbaited hard as shit right now. But I want to watch this and see what it's about and see if he's critical of Wuthering Waves at all. Let's have a look.
Wuthering Waves. It is a game that not too long ago, many in the community were quite skeptical about. There was this lingering feeling, almost a quiet consensus, that it had hit its peak. You would hear whispers or sometimes outright declarations that it was going to slowly or maybe even quickly go downhill from there. The logic—
Yeah, a lot of people do think when a game peak, like the whole point of peak, right, is that it's the best of the best. So you've gone through the bad to get to the peak, and then it goes downhill. That's why it's a peak. But a lot of people just call things that are really good peak nowadays, which is
was simple, if a bit pessimistic. How could they possibly top what they had already done? But if there's one consistent thread with Kuro Games and Wuthering Waves, it is proving those doubters wrong. Time and time again after each update, the game has just improved.
I do think because of the really rocky start and the fact that they are fixing multiple problems very, very quickly, the whole community consensus around Wuthering Waves, to be honest, not just content creator consensus, is that Wuthering Waves does just keep getting better and better. It will eventually hit that peak and start going down, I feel like, but right now, I think Wuthering Waves is in a very, very good spot.
Meticulously, steadily, they have chipped away at issues and built on strengths. What we have now in this current version of Wuthering Waves genuinely feels like the best iteration of the game we have ever played. It is more refined, more robust, and simply a better experience overall. And
I think adding flying to Rudicida and such is definitely making it a much, much, much better experience of gameplay overall.
Evidence for this isn't just anecdotal. You can see it in the numbers. Recently, Wuthering Waves climbed to the 6th spot on Steam's global top sellers list. Think about—
Wow. To be fair, I don't know how I feel about this top sellers list since it's a free-to-play game, but it's still a very good sign considering this is just Steam client downloads, right?
About that for a moment. It wasn't just on the list. It impressively surpassed major well-established titles like Helldivers 2 and the possible winner of Game of the Year, Expedition 33. This isn't some fleeting moment of popularity. This signals a genuine, sustained upward trajectory for the game. It shows real, tangible success. This continuously growing, improving, robust, and now demonstrably successful game environment. That is the fertile ground Lupa is arriving into. And that is precisely why her own success isn't just about her individual merits. It is built on the very foundation of Wuthering Waves' own resurgence and its newfound stability. Let's get into it.
That is a very good point. Lupa, by the way, I think Wuthering Waves, well, let me say Kuro. I think Kuro marketed Lupa in one of the best ways possible. Here's my current thoughts on Wuthering Waves, where it stands after this update, right? I think the first part of the patch, the first part of the story was, in my opinion, I think that's when we reached kind of peak Wuthering Waves. I do. At least the current peak. 2.2, I think, was also very, very good, right? I think they're kind of level with each other. I thought they were pretty damn good. And then here's the big difference now. This is the first time they're trying this kind of new thing that they're doing where they release half the patch story halfway through the patch, right? Here's where I kind of stand on it. The first half of the patch story was incredibly good. The second half of the patch story was very good. However, I still feel like the first half was better than the second half. But I love Lupa as a character. They marketed her incredibly well. And in the story, she is incredible. I just feel like the quest wasn't long enough to flesh things out in the second half as much as I would personally like, especially with how good Wu's storytelling is. Like, I'm always left wanting more. And that's a me problem, bro. I'm always left wanting more when the story is goddamn good. It took me like 2 hours to beat the whole thing, whereas the first part took me like 3 to 4, I think. But it did feel like a good wrap-up with a cliffhanger at the end of it, and now we only have like 3 weeks to wait until the next one, so I'm not exactly mad about it. I still thought it was really fucking good. I think I gave like the second half of it like a 8.5 out of 10, and if I'm adding both the first half and the second half into one, I think this patch was like a 9.5, bro. I think it was an incredibly good patch, to be honest. Now, the second problem for me comes with Lupa as a character, because Lupa in the story is this gladiator, this literal one-man army that goes absolutely haywire on anyone she comes across. And yes, she is a very valuable ally and teammate in the gladiatorial arena, but everything kind of pointed to this character being a main DPS, right? Me personally, I couldn't care less because I actually kind of need more supports in the game, so I'm glad I pulled her anyway. But she is a support unit, maybe like a sub-DPS support unit. And a lot of people are kind of frustrated that it doesn't really fit her role in the story. story in terms of gameplay, and they really expected a main DPS. I think Wuwa already has a shit ton of main DPS at this point, but that's coming from someone who doesn't play the game as much as others. So other people are going to have way more insight and valuable insight into that than I do, admittedly. I'm curious what Glaive has to say about this.
They're seeing the sheer scale of the marketing push for Cartedilla, and honestly, that was something else.
Yeah,
We're talking Jeff Keighley himself leaking attack animations, the story cinematics hitting #1 on Bilibili, literal advertisements projected into the Tianfu Twin Towers, the kind of budget that makes you wonder if they're a Hoyoverse game. Naturally, the thought crossed many minds. Okay, they went all out for Cartedilla, they just poured everything into that.
This looks insane! Oh my god, I did not know that this was a marketing push. Holy.
Surely they're going to slow down now, maybe even give up on the next character. I mean, who cares about Lupa after that, am I right? It is a reasonable assumption for a lot of companies, but what we have seen from Kuro Games, it has been a consistent pattern. It is a deep commitment to all of their characters, even Calcharo. Lupa's rollout really...
Can we not laugh at Calcharo, bro? He was the 5-star that I selected from the standard selector, bro. I like Calcharo, although... admittedly, he does kind of fucking suck compared to what I expected him to be like, especially now in this point in the game. But still, guys, don't say who. Thank God she isn't a main DPS. More future-proof for any fusion team, to be honest. I kind of agree with you, honestly. I kind of like that take, but that's just me.
Solidifies this. While her promotion wasn't quite as meteoric in terms of those massive global ad placements like Cartedilla had, it was still incredibly effective and frankly quite refined.
I think Lupa had the best character trailer or character whatever they called it, the animation with the song that I've heard in most gaming, dude. I am just a big simp for good music and good animations together at the same time, and I feel like Lupa's character trailer smashed that out the park, bro.
We got 3 key official videos from the Wuthering Waves channel. There was the Resonator Combat Showcase, which gives us a taste in her in-game moves, and then the main Resonator Showcase, which dove deeper into her character, and of course, a dedicated music video, which is a nice touch. The reactions to these videos, they have been overwhelmingly positive, very well received. It shows that Kuro Games has stepped up their game when it comes to building hype for their characters, not just through sheer advertising brute force, but through quality content that genuinely connects with the player base. This
yes, although it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because that kind of stuff is also sheer force of marketing as well. Like the Resonator showcases and stuff and the trailers, they are marketing strategies. So it's both.
Strategic shift in how they market, moving from grand spectacles to a more focused, high-quality content, points to a deeper understanding of what truly makes players care about a character. And that understanding, that connection, is exactly what sets the stage for Lupa's inherent appeal.
I mean, you could even use Genshin as a example of this, right? You know a character is going to sell well when they get not just a collective miscellany, not just a character teaser, not just a character demo, but then like a whole ass animated short, bro. You know that is a character that they want to sell good. Same thing for these characters. When they get like a dedicated music video and then insane 5-minute trailers, like, come on.
Beyond just the marketing, Wuthering Waves has this real strength. It is good at making you, the player, genuinely want a character. Like, seriously, when is the last time you felt like, oh, this is an easy skip? I doubt that is the feeling. They get you.
For Wuwa, for me, easy skip is tough because I said like a long time ago that I wanted to stop spending money on Genshin. I never said it about other gacha games, but I was like, well, I don't spend in other gacha games anyway, right? So I was like, it's fine. Like, I stopped spending in most gachas. So I wanted to stop spending money on Genshin because my account's in a perfectly fucking fine spot right now, and honestly, I just wasn't getting that same like blown away factor from a lot of characters since like Nuvi, to be honest. That's just my personal preference in characters wasn't getting hit, and it's also just the end game situation where the end game is not for me, so I don't even need those strong characters. Just don't fucking need them. Unless I wanted to go for the skins, obviously, and then fuck it, whale C6R5. It's not happening. I'm not spending on Genshin. I feel zero desire to spend my money on Genshin Impact anymore. However, Wuthering Waves, dude, I'm happy to spend on that game. And obviously, I never said I wasn't gonna, but it's like this kind of the same reason as well that you can pretty much use any character in the end games and have a decent chance, right? At least right now. That might change years down the line, just like it has with Genshin. But not only that, dude, it's like when a game improves on such a huge monumental front so frequently, I guess is the right word. This has been a thing since I started Wuwa, and I remember saying it. It makes you want to support the game. It makes you want to spend money. I remember spending money when they gave away the first free like 5-star standard selector because they were listening to community feedback and changing things, and it's like, damn, I want to support this company. I want to support this game. I feel like it's making a positive impact, a positive difference. And then when Solon came out in the interview and was like, yeah, what did he say? Like, as long as we can survive, like we'll keep pumping out good content. It's like, that's what I fucking love, bro. That's what I love. Something like that. It was quite an emotional interview. It was nice, especially when they're putting this much effort into the characters and stuff, bro.
You invested in their
it.
personalities, their backstory. It creates what some people call a parasocial bond.
Oh,
you feel like you know them, like they are part of your world.
I'm
just like you and
now.
me, viewer. We are friends, aren't we? you're my family,
bro. Glaive probably has more Heat watchers than he realizes at this point, but probably not than he realizes. I think it's fucking crazy, bro.
You're my brother. You know what? And for Lupa, this whole process really kicked off with the introduction of Septimont.
Oh, cool.
Bro, I just realized this is not peak Wuthering Waves. I think I got clickbaited so hard. I think he's going to say it's like the best it's been so far, but it's just going to keep getting better, so the peak's in the future. Motherfucker.
Damn, dude. A whole new area.
Yeah.
Welcome to Amphorius. Okay, dude.
The new region, that entire narrative arc, the part of the story was crucial. It allows us to dive deep into Lupa's world to understand why she is a gladiator, her battles not just in the arena but against the corruption around it, and her journey to find and define her own wolf pack. Damn, that was a bar, dude. When you watch streamers react to that peak Septimont introduction, or when they meet Lupa for the first time, you can just see it. That is real emotional investment being built. And then
100%, bro. The second I saw Lupa in the trailer, not even in the trailer, the second we saw Lupa, I thought she was pretty fucking cool, but she grew on me as a character, dead ass. I was not that interested in pulling, dude, until I started to get to know the character through the game, and oh my god, I actually went parasocial for Lupa. Wuthering Waves marketing actually worked on me. They've got me by the balls. Oh my god, they're gripping the taint, they're fondling the balls, dude. They know what they're, oh my.
You have the showcases themselves. The Resonator showcase, the cinematic one, was just stunning.
I'm done.
Were absolutely blown away by the visuals, the way it seamlessly blended 2D and 3D animation. That is
one of the best things they've done, by the way. I want to put that out there, bro. One of the best things they decided to do is blending art styles, 2D to 3D and such. It makes such a phenomenally drastic difference in enjoyment of these cutscenes. It is insane.
That is a difficult trick to pull off, and they nailed it. The camera angles were dynamic, really pulling you into the action. The story resonated deeply. Her partner's betrayal, Lupa's incredible resilience to overcome it, her whole badass persona, and unique gladiator theme, it all hit hard. And the Resonator Combat Showcase backed that up. People praised the amazing visuals and insane animations, highlighting her dynamic combat style. You can see the fluidity.
The cameraman was paid extra for this video, by the way. This one right here.
Using her weapons, her powerful abilities, her ultimate, those smooth, almost dance-like movements. It just makes you want to get your hands on her in
double time
game. But what really made Lupa stand out for many, myself included, is her unique sound. The music for Lupa was crafted by Grabbits.
This is what made me pull for her. Deadass, I said it in the reaction. This is what made me pull for the character.
Really prominent musician who is well known for his work with Riot Games, specifically for games like League of Legends and Valorant.
It sounded like an arcane track, bro.
If you're familiar with the competitive scene for those games, you know they have these huge esports tournaments. They're basically modern day gladiator tournaments, am I right? And Grabbits has a knack for creating music that perfectly captures that high stakes, intense fighting spirit. So having him work on Lupa's theme just makes perfect sense. It really hammers.
Play it. Let me simp for the music yet again, bro.
Home her gladiator persona. And while not everyone might instantly connect with that style of music, for those of us who have been deep in the Valorant scene, consistently following their franchise tourney matches, this song just hit the spot. It truly captures Lupa as that kind of relentless winning fighter. So this holistic approach to Lupa, her deep lore, her striking visual design, and this unique resonant sonic identity, it all works together. It creates this immense desire to have her, and that desire, that wanting, is then directly amplified by how well she performs in the game itself. Because for a gacha character to truly succeed, they have to deliver in gameplay as well. This is where
she feels really fucking good to play. She does. And I feel like the story did an incredible job at showcasing just what she feels like. But my point earlier still stands. I feel like a lot of people don't like the fact that she's a support unit because of her role in the story being this, like, portrayed as like a main DPS gladiator, right? For me personally, I couldn't really care less. She still does a fuck ton of damage. I pulled her. I don't even have like another fusion main DPS right now, bro. But I'll probably pull Brant in future because I tried him for the first time the other day and he's busted. He's so fun.
Where Lupa's kid really shines shines because it is built with this interesting balance.
Yep.
She is undeniably powerful, but also remarkably user-friendly. Hear me out. First off, she is genuinely easy to pick up and play. You don't need to be some kind of gaming savant to make her work. She has this clever built-in dodge helper that basically gives you an extra free dodges in a fight, which is incredibly forgiving, and her special moves, the ones that really make her shine and help your team, charge up without much effort. This means whether you are a seasoned player
Isn't she like really bad with Changli though, I heard?
who knows all the tricks or someone just starting out, you can get her doing cool stuff and being effective pretty quickly. And don't mistake easy to use for weak. Lupa is an insane fusion character. Think of fusion as her element, right? Like
I also feel like she was doing plenty of damage in the story, so even though she might be classified as like a sub DPS or support, I still feel like she does enough. Bro, I feel like most of the fucking sub DPSs in this game can still do an incredible job in the endgame content if you use them as a main DPS. Am I crazy for that? Maybe that's just wrong, but from what I've done, it feels fine.
fire. She makes her teammates stronger, especially, or specifically, other characters who also use that fiery fusion damage, all while dishing out a lot of damage herself. Her special kit, the one she uses as she leaves the field, gives a big boost to the next character that comes in, making them hit harder. It is a fantastic pairing for other powerful fusion characters.
Oh my god, I have Encore. Wait, is Lupa good with Encore? Can I actually build an Encore team now? Oh my god, I might actually be able to build an Encore team. I don't even like Encore's gameplay, but it might be doable.
Another smart design choice is that you don't need to break the bank to make her good. You don't need her fancy exclusive special weapon to
But it looks cool, so I pulled it anyway.
get great results. She works really well with common weapons that are easier to get your hands on.
Wish I'd have known that. No, I don't actually. I'd have pulled it anyway.
This is a massive win for anyone who doesn't want to spend a fortune or for free-to-play players. Plus, her damage isn't just a big burst
I'm coping. Just let me cope.
and then nothing. She hits a lot of enemies at once, very consistently too. This spread out damage makes her super valuable in fights when you're up against many opponents, like in the challenging Whimpering Waste. Even if a few of her smaller bonuses don't fully kick in there, the main damage is more than enough. And while her basic moves are simple to grasp, if you do want to get really technical, there are ways to swap characters super efficiently to maximize damage. So that is a choice, not a requirement.
For sure, I've seen the future, bro. Don't do that.
However, let's be real. When something sounds this good, there is usually a but. And you're right, there is a few things to consider
There certainly is a but. I've seen it like 4 times in one cutscene, and listen.
with Lupa. While she is generically user-friendly, getting her to absolute peak performance does come with a specific quirks. For one, she really shines brightest in teams where almost everyone uses fusion damage. She is not a character you can just plug into any random team and expect top results. She thrives when she is surrounded by her fiery comrades. Also, she does like to stay on field for a decent chunk amount of time to do her full routine and apply all her buffs. This can sometimes feel a little bit clunky if your other teammates have a very quick, short-lived buffs that you want to perfectly line up. You might
That is a good point. Yeah, that is a good point, especially if you've got like is it freaking Mortifi or Verena that has the kind of short outro skill like in buff?
lose a little bit of those quick boosts, and that powerful special buff that she gives when she is leaving the field, it disappears fairly quickly if you swap characters too fast. So if you're the kind of player who likes to rapid fire swap characters, you need to be very precise to make sure you actually get that boost. It means while she can be swapped, doing it perfectly requires a little bit more active thought. Finally, to get Lupa's team truly performing at the very top, the absolute highest level, you're often looking at investing heavily in 3 characters, not just one main damage dealer. Unlike some teams where one super strong characters carry everyone else, Lupa's best team often needs all 3 members to be quite well built. That can
Interesting. Would it be doable for me to do an Encore Lupa Mortifi team, or is that just not good?
mean more time, more farming, and potentially more pulls just to reach that highest tier of damage. So is she still user-friendly with all these points? Yes, for sure. She is friendly to start with. You can pick her up,
No healer? Don't need a healer if you don't get hit, bro. Come on now.
use her easily, and she will feel powerful. But to unlock her absolute maximum potential, the kind that might break records, that is where the nuances come in, and you might need a bit more dedication to her specific team needs. When we look at Lupa's emerging success, it is pretty clear it is not just some lucky accident. It is actually the culmination of a few things. It is Kuro Games having this much more mature understanding of how to develop a character, and critically, how to market them effectively.
Bro, I can't. Oh my. Somebody stop request that song for after this, please.
Lupa, in a way, embodies Wuthering Waves' entire trajectory, like the game itself. She has arrived after a period where there were definitely doubts, but both the game and this character have steadily, quietly overcome those questions and truly found their stride. They have reached a new peak, you could say. say. Her appeal is holistic. It is not just
Well, I thought you said this is not peak Wuthering Waves. What do you mean, Glaive Kia?
one thing that makes her work. It is that deep integration into the story, making you feel a connection. It is the striking visual design and animations that are simply a joy to watch. It is the unique sound design, that music that truly captures her essence, and then, crucially, it is a kit that both incredibly powerful and surprisingly player-friendly. This comprehensive approach to character release, where every aspect seems to be considered and executed with a quiet confidence, it really feels like setting a new standard on how successful characters are rolled out in the gacha space. But I am curious to hear your thoughts, considering Lupa's overall approach, from how her story is woven in to her approachable yet potent gameplay. Do you think this kind of holistic strategy represents the new benchmark for gacha character success, or are there other elements you find even more impactful when you're deciding to pull for a character?
I think it's one element of many. I also think story importance is a big aspect as well, and so far, even though Lupa had an incredibly important part to play, it is undeniable that there are 4 more important people in the story of Wuthering Waves, right? For example, like Jinji in the first region, right? Like characters that have a bigger role to play or more of a role to play also typically garner more pulls in general, and typically get a lot more effort put into them by the company, even though Lupa is definitely not suffering from having a smaller but still pretty important role to play. I don't think she is suffering in the slightest. I think she is probably going to sell very well, I would assume.
Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, but that is all from me, Glaive Kyo, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.
Yeah, I think, honestly, that was a good video. I got clickbaited so fucking hard, bro. Hey, maybe people were right, Glaive. Maybe you do just, glaze Wuwa and shit on Genshin. Maybe that last video I watched was just you absolutely shitting on Genshin without praising it at all. I don't know, bro. I don't know.